Hey, if you got a rusted A-pillar and you're interested in seeing how to repair it, that's exactly what we dealt with in this episode of Restoring Christine. We've got this A-pillar we repaired from the top of the door jamb all the way down to the door hinge. It took us about 2 days to get this done, but if you're interested in seeing how this goes from crusty to looking like new, stay tuned. Hey, good morning. Welcome back to Restoring Christine. Well, I'm finally able to get back to working on the Bel Air. It's been a couple of weeks. We've had the holidays and over the last few weeks have interrupted. Had some time away with the family, and that was always good. But I'm back in the garage now. I'm finally able to get back and start making some progress on the bodywork on this car. And we still got a lot to do before we can get ready to do body filler and get it prepped for paint. So I'm still a few months out from that. But right now, I'm trying to fix all the rust repairs on the car and make sure everything's tight, get it back in good shape. And right now, I'm just trying to get my momentum back. So what I'm going to work on this week is going to be the A-pillar on the driver's side. And this is an area that on both sides of the car, it was pretty bad. So this is the area where the cowl ties into the windshield area, the windshield seating area. There's a pinch weld piece that's separate that mounts on top of this. This is on top of the body of the car. The A-pillar A-pillar area is from the front of the door all the way down, and this has got corrosion starting somewhere mid-height above the door window, and then it comes down and into this area of the cowl. It gets into the area further down. It's eaten up. It goes underneath. It's eaten up all in here. So there's a lot of fiddly detail work that goes with repairing this. I already did the other side. I did that a few months back and learned a lot as I was doing that. So this one, I'm going to apply lessons learned on that. So this one. Okay, now I have the fender off and the door, and you can now you can see how this whole thing comes together. So the A-pillar comes down and comes into this door jamb area, and then the cowl is a separate piece. The cowl has got a seam that comes right over the door jamb. So I'm going to start cleaning this up and get all this prepped and ready to start making little pieces parts, and we'll get this thing fixed. Grinded that up. As I was grinding it, I saw that the cowl, this upper lip of the cowl here, this bead, and it's rusted through, and it's got a lot of pitting and pinhole in here. So the cowl is going to take some bit of repair, as well as the A-pillar. And I also ran into what I think is body lead. I think maybe this is body lead from the original factory seams, where they might have spliced this piece and then the door jamb together. It's right at the edge of where it seems where the cowl might stop. So it looked like some lead or something right here. Hopefully that doesn't get in the way of welding. I didn't encounter that on the other side, but it might have been because I cut all that out. So I'm going to start planning and making pieces, and we'll see where it goes. All right, so I started cutting out the side flange. Got it shaped to where it fits alongside of there. Now I'm going to take it to my brake, and I'm going to bend it over. Getting back to the cowl, I took some masking tape and taped over, put a couple of layers to make me a template here. So this is basically to show me where from that fold line of this piece that I just bent, to show where from that fold line, how far back it needs to come to the next seam, because this has got some shape to it. It starts off flat, it rises up, and it curves over, and then it's got this curve around here. So what I need to do is I need to take this tape template, transfer it to my piece, cut out my edge, and start bending this shape. But it's only going to come back as far as this, so it's only gonna come back to about here. So let's get that done. You know, sometimes you come up with an idea and you're not sure if it's gonna work. So I went ahead and I did something, and I didn't video it, but I'm gonna show you after the fact that actually it seems like it's gonna work. So let me show you what I did. So I already had my tape template, which you saw that. Okay, well that aligns with the piece that I bent, and that was used to make this piece. And when I cut this piece, I had this drop left. So that drop basically is the shape of the edge of the windshield, the bead. So I said, okay, well, how about I take a 2x4, take my tape template, put my tape template on a 2x4, and I use a grinder and a flap disc, and I use a flap disc to gouge a groove in a 2x4. And you can see it, yeah, it kind of looks like that. So it's on the curvature. It's on the same curve as what is this piece, which is a tape template. So I took this piece of sheet metal. So in the 2x4, I took my piece and I started the ball peen hammer, and I started beating into the groove there that I gouged, and now it's starting to take shape. It's actually pretty close, and that's what's going to now attach. I'll weld that to this piece as soon as I get the two aligned. So I think it's gonna work. All right, so I'm starting to cut away pieces of the cowl in order to start fitting this in, and you can see why. There was corrosion over here, and this is the lip that's raised right by at the seat of the windshield, and you see this big old pit that came through here, and then it kind of bled towards this way. And if you look, when you remove the piece, you can see why. That is right on top of where the firewall, there's a gasket right on top of the firewall that the cowl seats against, and that's exactly where this was. And somehow moisture wicked and got into here, and then just started getting it from the back, because all this cowl stays wet whenever it rains. Water comes in here, so that's why it rusted right where it was, right there. So I made another piece. Using the same 2x4 groove, and bent it, grinded it. Now I'm gonna fit this into here and just replace and get this blended back this way, so that way when I start welding in this piece, this will already be repaired. So I'm gonna bring it back this way and then replace this. So I fired up my MIG welder. I'm using a Hobart Handler 125. This is a 120 volt 15 amp circuit, nothing big. This does everything I needed to do for this car. Right now I'm welding it pretty hot. I'm welding with the voltage on 3. It has 4 different voltage settings, 1, 2, 3, 4, so it's on 3, and I've got the wire feed up at about 70. So I'm welding it pretty hot and pretty fast, and you get tack welds that look like this. So I've got that piece tack welded in. I decided not to remove the pinch weld. I was originally going to remove it, but then I decided not to, because I figured I was going to probably distort it, and then as I started prying on it, the material underneath the pinch weld just seemed solid, so it just seemed like a waste of time. There's a second lip, so this piece rides up, goes in, and then comes up under the pinch weld and over. So I know from doing the other side that that's a very difficult pain in the foot thing to do, so I decided to just go ahead and put my piece in, tack weld it in now. So now I've got this set. Now I'm going to continue doing the rest of this and fitting in my other pieces. Hey, remember earlier when I said that there was it seemed to be a seam right here and there was lead? Sure enough, it's absolutely body lead. I just tapped into it with a screwdriver, and it's butter soft right here. So that's all part of the original 1956 factory leading. Right in there, right at the seam. So it seems like this was manufactured in one piece, the cowl, and they must have leaded right over it. So I'm gonna cut all the top side off, but not the bottom. I'm gonna clean this up, this bottom structure. Even though it's got surface corrosion, it doesn't have holes in it. So I'm gonna clean this up. I'm gonna treat this with a rust converter, and then I'm gonna spray some undercoating on it. Okay, so I want to show you something that's it illustrates why you don't cut your corroded pieces off of the car first. You can always use them to make, to shape and guide and direct you where you need to go. So this is a great example. I need to replace a section of sheet metal that's corroded from here. It's in here, it's all underneath here. So what I did is I just cut a flat piece, just a flat piece, and I clamped it up here, wrapped it around here, bent it, used the body as my dolly. So basically that's all smooth. That's all touching. That's all touching all along there. So that's where my seam's gonna be. It's gonna be over here. I'm gonna cut this side back, and this will end up welding in that corner. And then over here, what I need to do in order to fix this is I need to weld a flange on this inside to come back and replace that corner piece that's rotted. But then that'll be this outside piece. I also made this piece to replace this. So now I need to make the flat piece, and then my original section that I started making, this piece goes all the way back to there. So I'm getting pretty close with all the number of pieces that I'm going to have to tack together and get them all fitted in. Now look, I just started cutting it right in place. So I just cut across, came on the outside, I cut this face, followed it down in there, followed it until when I started to run into my clamp. But I didn't even remove that piece from the last shot I just showed you. So it's just I'm building it. I'm building it in place. I am going to take it off to end up welding it, but I'm building it in place right now. I'm getting it shaped, and so I'm letting the car tell me where this piece needs to be. Okay, so now I'm sneaking up on it. I'm starting to cut out this surface that went around here, but I'm leaving this shape. I don't want to lose this shape at all. So I'm leaving that, and what I'm trying to do right now is I'm going to get this piece back up here, and I'm going to weld this flange that goes on this side to return that back that direction, and that's going to go all the way around this corner. So that's what I'm going to do next. All right, now while that piece was attached, it was clamped, I went ahead and I fit in a couple little smaller pieces to weld in the flanges. So I know this looks nasty and gnarly and just total gorilla. But let me tell you, I'm about to grind that out. I'll weld it on the inside, and if I put enough bead on the inside, I'll be able to grind that and make that same factory radius as this was. So that'll be all the way around down this way. I've only brought it to here, which is where the door jamb section started, and I'm only taking care of just this part. All this is solid. So underneath, this piece that I just fit is going to replace all that. So let me go ahead and continue fitting and making this piece. That's it. It's a good looking piece. I'll get it out of the vise and show you. So it's hot. But it cleans up really well. That's what I was talking about. You put a heavy bead in here that nobody's gonna see. It's real heavy bead, and that way it gives you something to grind into, and you get that nose radius. You get it nose right over. So I hope you can see that. Alright, I got it fit like I like. Fitting pretty good. Cut and grind. I've got it fitted in pretty well. So it's just gonna take a little bit of finesse to get all of these edges to flush up as I get it in there, but it's fitting pretty well. So what I'm getting ready to do is I'm gonna go ahead and weld it in and put it on a time lapse. see what it looks like. Well, there it is. Got to grind it in. We'll grind it down, I should say. It's pretty smooth. Could use a little bit more grinding or sanding down in here, but I'm starting to get tired. Beads got a little bit right here, a little lip. I'll take that down. Beads got a little bit here. I'll take that down too. But this is all inside of the door jamb, you know. You close the door, you don't see any of this, but I'm still, you know, when we finish it, I'm going to do body filler in here. So now I need to continue on and get back to the top now that I got the bottom all done. So I got the bottom done. I got this side working towards the middle. So all this is really starting to come together. I've got So good morning. Here's where the reality of restoring a car on your own in your own garage gets to be revealed. So a split second in YouTube video time, which is in between the last clip and this clip, a whole week is going by. It's just the way it happens, man. When you're restoring a car on your own, you're doing all the work. Life gets in the way. It's a good thing, you know. I mean, we have the holidays upon us. It's in between Thanksgiving and Christmas. Visiting family, work commitments. You have other commitments. You have other things getting in the way, and it's just like, even though there's, you know, for all the time that I get to spend in the garage, I really only get to focus maybe one good solid day where I don't have other things to do, just part of regular mundane routine life. So it's been a whole week now, and now I'm still working on this A-pillar, but let's get back to it. So I want to show you where I'm at this morning, and actually as I'm looking at this, I'm pointing it out to you, but I'm reminding myself to remember where the heck I was last week. But I know when I left off, I had fit in this this section of the cowl, and I was working on this bottom corner of the A-pillar, and this is really tricky. Right now I'm fitting this in, and it's not quite fully cut in. I just have it shaped, roughly shaped, and I've got this generally going together. This is where I'm putting this piece in, and this is going to, it's just tacked in right now. This will end up coming back out to some degree. This needs to be set back. I've still got this lip to fit in, and I also have this, I don't know what you want to call it, but this piece to fit in here, because I've got some, this was corroded pretty badly. So that's what I'm going to be working on this morning, and I'm excited to get back started on this. Hopefully this won't take too long, but I'll definitely be able to get this all wrapped up today. Let's get after it. Okay, so what I decided to do is I decided to go ahead and make all of this in one part to here. So this lip, this corner, underneath to here, this will all be one part. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to finish tacking all of this together, and then I'll pull it off and I'll weld it up, and then I'll come back and put it on here and weld it onto the car. So what that means is I'm going to bring this lip back to here. I'm going to weld this on the car and make my splice point here. Then I've got this bead ready to go. This is fit in. So this will fit in like this. And I'll weld that onto the car. and then make my splice down here. So this will be one big piece. This will be one piece on the car, one piece on the car, tie it in here, and then be done. So I need to still fit a little bit more underneath here, and then get all this tacked up, and then weld it up, and then we'll put it on. Right? That part done. So that smoothed out pretty well. I got a couple little pin holes here. Just the edge here where the still got to cut. Got to just fill in a little bit here. And I know the pinch weld, I also have to splice a pinch weld here where I started to cut it out and change them on. So pinch weld's still in place. It doesn't have the factory seam here. I welded it up, but that's a sacrifice. That's all up underneath stainless steel. You'll never see any of this, but it's that's a rock solid repair. I'm going to go on to this now. Alright, so there it is. It's on the post, smoothed in, aligns really well, flushes out really nicely. It's got good good contour. A little lump right here I'll be able to grind out. That's a little bit of fat in the weld. I'll be able to get that out. But it blends really well. And then again, at the end of the day, covered by stainless. Nobody's going to see it. So that's a beautiful repair for just having it buried. So I'm going to continue on. Okay, we're on the second to last step now. I got all my little small pieces fit in. I have them all tacked to just the part that I want to be able to remove, and I've removed it to cut away some of the backside and get it fitted tighter. So now it's ready to go. It's ready to be welded to itself, and then once I get it all welded to itself, then I'll pull it off, prime the backside, grind it, do some other things on the back, put it back on, and then weld all around the perimeter to attach it to the car, and then it'll be done. Let's get after it. That's coming together. It's all fit in. With this all smoothed out, I got a little bit of undercut here. I'm going to fill in a little bit with a little more wet metal. I'll weld that a little bit. I'll weld some more in here. There's a little piece missing here, but I'm going to take it off the car in a bit, and then get to the back side of it and deal with that. And then I'll put it back on and weld it permanently in place will be finished. So, one last look. Got everything cleaned up. Got it all coated with undercoating. I've got my part all welded together. See how it came together? I got it sprayed on the backside with undercoating. It's still wet, that's why it's shiny. But I doubled up on my welds on the backside. Got them all nice, cleaned up. I got my spot weld holes punched. Actually drilled 3/16. I'm gonna go ahead and put this in. Almost done. Here we go. Pause a little bit here and let you see what it looks like before I grind it. So, you know, it's got a little bit of gorilla weld, but that's all right. I mean, you've seen what it does when it grinds out. So now I'm gonna go ahead and grind this down and clean it up. Got a little bit of detail work to do over here where I had some blow through, and that's about it. So hang on, we'll grind it. About you, but I'm very pleased with this. It's got great alignment. It's got all the contours. The body contours are still there. You can see all the shine with the grinder. It came out. But what we're going to do right now is, as much as I love shiny metal, I wish I could let it sit like this, but I'm going to go ahead and prime it, and it's going to really clean this up quite a bit when you see what it looks like with primer. So I used an etching primer when I primed Christine after we got it back from the sandblaster. And now I'm just using rattle can Rust-Oleum for the moment, just to get this stuff sealed up. But man, that looks good. What do you think? All right, that's going to do it for this episode. Really appreciate all of you watching, staying tuned with me. I know these my episodes usually run 20-25 minutes. I haven't edited this one yet, so let's see how it's going to be. I tend to be a little bit long, so I apologize for that, but I do appreciate you sticking with me. I like having everybody keep up with me in the garage here. If you like the videos, please give me a thumbs up. If you like the channel, please do subscribe. We will be coming at you with a little bit of irregularity because of the holidays, but you never know. Hey, I might take some time off, and instead of fooling with the family, I'll fool with the mistress. We'll go ahead and we'll work on Christine over the holidays. So we'll see how much we get done. But appreciate you watching. Thank you. Cheers.